There's like a drum roll leading up to this one. I like that. It's Tuesday, and we got some wily young men in the studio. Vendetta Ride. What's up, guys?
Howdy. Hey, Frank.
Driving all the way from Monroe. We've got Corey, who I've spoke to. You're the only one I've spoken to, so why don't you just kind of go down the list? Who's in your band right now?
All right, we got Mr. Cody Boggs here on the electric guitar, and he's got a pretty voice himself, so we'll sing him a little too. Down there, we got Mr. Matt Fredericks on the bass, and he's only allowed to have a live mic when he's singing because otherwise he gets us in trouble.
Well, I'm going to let him talk later.
That's gonna be trouble, Frank. Just so everyone, we signed the waiver. We're good. Mr. Mark Witt come on the drums down there. So
well, thanks for coming in. How was the drive? Not bad?
It wasn't bad. It's first time kind of down here. Usually you're here for an event, so to just come down during the day and it's not horrible traffic.
Well, you've been watching the Homegrown Happy Hours before.
Yeah, I watch almost every week.
I appreciate you guys coming in for this. So this is awesome. It's out of Monroe. And I asked you this question last night. I want to lead this interview off with it because it was such a good question. And your response was actually really good to it, too. On a scale of 1 to 10, just how country would you say you guys are?
I would say our live shows are very country because every country band plays your classic rock songs. But our originals have, we're from the age, this guy's young, but we're from the age where, there's got to be a guitar solo in the song. So they're a little rocky, but your lyrics are country. So I think I told you 7. And the newer stuff's a little more country. These guys haven't even heard some of the newer stuff yet, though.
How did you come to meet him? If he's so young.
Funny. He's friends with my daughters. We used to run a band called Pass the Jam that was like high school kids, kind of like a School of Rock thing, and he was in that. We were forming Vendetta Ride. We had a gig booked, but we didn't have a guitarist, so
there you
that
go.
was 2 years ago. So
okay, so how you guys been together for, you'd say, about
basically
2 years?
2 years.
And these guys have all been in since the beginning?
Yeah, actually, if anyone, I actually dropped out for a short bit because we were playing a lot, and I dropped out and just kind of was working on my originals, and then we kind of reformed and.
That's cool.
A little different now.
Just to do your original stuff, or there was no.
But just we were. It's not a bad thing to be people wanting us to play all the time, but it just didn't fit. Like I told you, I know I have grandkids, and I don't want to be playing in a bar every weekend. So we're kind of changing what Vendetta Ride's doing.
Okay, how did that make you guys feel when he left?
This turned into no Barbara Walters questions.
Well, no, he said he never were going to give a mic until today. I'm getting rights to the book after this.
No.
It was fine. We all are really cool with each other, all good buddies. So if he felt like he wanted to do some more writing than playing out, then that was cool with us.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
bands and musicians come and go.
That's true, but honestly, not the singers too much.
Yeah.
I'll be real about that. Like the singers, if they leave, they're kind of like, well. Right, no one would assume that it's peaceful either, but it seems like it really is because you guys sounded good in the warm-up, so I'm excited to get something. But
yeah, we are. Cool.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you say it was?
I'm going to go with a 7.
7? Would you guys all agree with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
7? Because I'll be honest with you, it's starting to branch out into the rockier kind of sound on the Homegrown show. Yeah. So, I mean, that's totally fine. That's why I asked because, I could hear it. It sounded like a little ride. It was cool. I like the sound. Let's check it out. Here's the first song's called Country Gets Down.
Country Gets Down.
So you're just coming off with like, we are country, damn it.
Right. Well, that's kind of this is a song I wrote a couple years ago with a buddy named Aaron, and we were forming a different band and he's really rocky and really bluesy, and it was, we're like, people would say, I like that song, I don't know if it's country. Well, we decided, we'll tell you that it's country.
All right, let's check it out. Country Gets Down, Vendetta Ride, live in MusicTown.
Let's go, boys. Why do you go into the city for a night on the town? Stars, they are so pretty. In the country, getting down. You don't need no fancy high heels. Don't need no little black dress. Throw on some boots and a tank top. Leave your hair a mess. We'll be playing our song as we pull it to the spot. At the bright lights of Broadway, but every bit is hot. Summertime in the backwoods, campfires all around. Church in Hank Sr., that's how my country gets down. water. Girls in bikinis jump on in. Lisa does and farmers' daughters. Nothing to make that city boy's head spin. Now comes the night, it's time for kickoff. The other team don't stand a chance. After party in a cornfield. Crank up the music, it's time to dance. They'll be playing our song as we pull to the spot. Not the bright lights of Broadway, but every bit is hot. Summertime in the backwoods, campfires all around. Church in Hank Sr., that's how my country gets down. Broadway, but every bit is hot. Summertime in the backwoods, campfires all around. Church in Boise Fist, that's how my country gets down. Gets down. That's how my country gets down. Gets down.
You should have kept going with that drum roll off, just like going to the drum solo and just go nuts. They told you that beforehand, didn't they, right?
We've talked.
Bam, bam, bam. Keith
There's
mooning over there.
Live shows where our songs tend to, throw 3 more minutes.
Well, I mean, it's encouraged.
No, it's usually this
Don't
guy.
listen to him. It's okay.
I'm going to regret this show.
Hey, nobody said it was easy.
There you go.
By the way, we're live at MusicTown. I forgot to say this. We're live at MusicTown every Tuesday. This is the Homegrown Happy Hour. You just heard my guest today. It's Vendetta Ride. I was going to save this question before the first song. I wasn't asking before the first song, but I saved it. How did you come up with the name for your band?
I love the movie Tombstone, and all Doc Holliday and all that stuff. And that's when Wyatt Earp ran down everyone that killed his brother. They called that Wyatt, Vendetta Ride. I just thought it sounded cool, and it was available, so we went with it. And actually, I had a show booked, and they said, "What's your name?" And I hadn't have a name yet, so I had to come up with one.
Was there like a sit-down session where you guys came up with a bunch of names, and that one just was the one, or that was it?
No, I just said, "Hey, that's our band."
He totally Hitlered it.
Where were you when you came up with the name for the band?
Probably just sitting on my deck outside my house. That's why I spent a lot of time just sitting
I
outside.
just watched the movie. You're just like,
I watch the movie a lot.
I like that.
My wife, who's she's here. We have the whole Tombstone. I don't know what's the other one. There's 2.
She can't hear you.
No,
You
there's
can't
2.
hear her.
She actually can. There's 2 Wyatt Earp movies. So we argue
can
which
hear
one's
you,
better,
right.
but Tombstone's better. Just so we're clear.
Okay. Stacy, right?
Stacy, yeah.
Shout out to Stacy,
No,
Spencer,
it
and Joe. They're
isn't.
stuck outside the studio because we got a full setup. Which I like the vibe that it has when they got the amps and the actual drums. I like it anyway, but sometimes it makes you feel like you're sitting in the basement. Like just a jam session. I like that a little bit. That's kind of cool. But Cody, right?
Yep.
How long you been playing guitar? 'Cause that's a sweet little axe you got there. It's a Fender.
Oh, yeah.
How long you been playing?
Since I was 9.
How old are you?
I'm 21 now.
How old are these guys?
I'm not gonna.
That's a good one. You won't
What did you
tell
do
them
the
that,
last 2 years prior to getting in the bars with these dudes? You were able to play?
It was kind of like you just, they didn't ask and I didn't tell them.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Well, you're a tall guy. You gotta have that probably going. A little bit. Grow out that beard a little bit, or has that been growing?
Oh no, I didn't know I had one actually. I guess I need to shave. I didn't know I had one going.
It's nice. He hasn't shaved in an hour.
So, what would you say your influences were? Like when you started the band, like when you started like listening to like jam sessions, like we need to start playing music that sounds like this or like this, or was it just kind of like?
Kind of just grew over what we could do. I mean, these 2 at the end have played in bands for years and years, so there was songs they could do. You start, and one thing we do live is we've got 3 different guys singing. So he sings songs, Matt sings songs. So we have the luxury of finding songs that fit each person and stuff. I mean, Jason Aldean, you know, you're more high energy guitar. I mean, obviously we're guitar. We have just for you know, we have another guitar player that couldn't come up with a good enough excuse to get out of work today, Jason Tipton, and he, you know, so we're a guitar-driven band, so we do guitar songs.
That's a good lead-in. You want to plug your company really quick?
We're gonna plug it.
If
Okay,
you
yeah.
want to,
So
since you got it. You had an excuse to get out of work. and
right.
it's your
So
company,
Yost
right?
Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. That's me, my dad's company, and my brother. So, and we have Grayson for the summer. That's our summer help. So yeah, we're
Cool.
Monroe. That's the plug. And now Frank's the plumber, honorary.
I'm the honorary plumber.
Yeah.
I'll get my house.
We're gonna need you tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Well, it's funny because it's usually when I ask, you know, what do you got to work to be here? And they're like, yeah. Like, can you say what you do? They're like, no.
I'm at a dentist appointment right now.
Right.
You are you? What if your bosses? Your boss isn't watching? You didn't tell anybody you're gonna be on the show today?
I work with a bunch of old guys. I don't think any of them actually have
Bunch of
Facebook.
old guys.
I know, right?
That's what he works with. bunch of old
Everything you
guys.
do.
So I think I'm
I
in the
can't.
clear.
You're in deep shit already. Oops, excuse me. You're in deep trouble already. So the throwing you under the bus award is gonna make it worse in about 5 minutes. So where is your music at, you guys?
Sorry, I was drinking a little bit. Y'all, your Spotify's, your Amazons, your Apple Music's. The first song we just played, and then the last song we'll play today are online. And we're gonna probably get in. We might re-record that first song. We recorded it a couple years ago with that other band actually, and we play it a little different. I kind of, you know, so we might jump in and just get our feet wet in the studio with that song and go
Sure.
from there.
That's a good plan. But the song in between, though, you made it a point to make this one in between. It's
Right.
the new single.
Right.
It's called Yesterday.
Yes.
But why did you want? I wanted to save it best for last. I wanted you to play the song last, but you're like, no, in the middle.
Well, I guess because we all pretty much, without any discussion, everyone pretty much had the order in their head that way when we were talking the other day. So, and
That's kind of cool.
and so if that's
talking
you know,
about
so
it.
then it's like, and that was just how everyone was feeling. And
You don't mess with that.
and a lot of stuff, when you're playing a lot, it's hard to work on originals. It's new, you know what I mean? So like we have a lot of original songs that some of these guys haven't even heard or they've partially heard because you're trying to play out. So this is, you know, we don't have a ton of time to work on originals. So it's not one we've ever played on anywhere outside of the rehearsal room.
So
I
this is
guess
like
we
a
just-
first-time thing.
first time.
This is
Well,
like
you heard like the sneak peek earlier, but yeah, we've not played it outside of the rehearsal.
Well, yeah, what you sent me to get on the show.
Did I send that one?
Well, I mean, it got you on, right?
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
That's good.
Is that bad that I just threw you under the bus?
No, it's fine. These guys rarely know anything. I'll be like, hey, you guys want to do this and this and this? Because I've been working on it for a while. But
You guys better watch that when you actually make it, because you watch The Dirt. Watch
I
some of
love
these
that movie.
movies. Like, yeah, he's a good dude. Fame messes with you,
but he's not.
and when he's in control of everything, you're not a good dude. I think
No,
you're a good dude. Let's check it out. Though, it's the debut then of your brand new
World,
single,
yeah,
Vendetta
this-
Ride. This is called Yesterday, and it's at the Beatles yesterday.
It's not
yours.
But funny story. That was on our set list for one of our shows, and our bass player did come ready to play the Beatles song. So hey,
How? Really quick, how?
He's going off into a pop area.
the set list said yesterday original, and he came to play the Beatles song. So that's all. That's Matthew Frederick.
Ba-da-ba.
Can't deny it.
Here we go.
All right, let's check it out. Here's Yesterday.
I drove through the old neighborhood, past a house where me and my dad and grandpa stood. The tree I caught my name in couldn't be found. Someone built a new house on that ground. In the field where me and all my friends would play, way back in a yesterday. Yesterday we built tree houses. Yesterday we got in fights. Today we've all got mortgages. Belts that fit too tight. I can still see our bobbers floating on the bay. Way back in a yesterday. Pine trees by the creek are getting tall. Swing set at the park sure looks small. There's still a baseball field, but no one's there. Sun is shining, but kids today don't care. Pictures hand is out, that's what we say. Way back in a yesterday. Yesterday we built tree houses. Yesterday we got fights. Today we've all got mortgages. Belts fit too tight. But the fish are biting and there ain't no bills to pay. Way back in a yesterday. Yesterday we built tree houses. Yesterday we got fights. Today we've all got mortgages. Belts that fit too tight. Still see your bobbers floating on the bay. Way back in a yesterday. Well, the fish are biting and there ain't no bills to pay. Way back in a yesterday. Yesterday.
So you said before the interview, you play, you know, you're kind of, you want to break out and do more bigger shows like at festival scenes or at these shows that are like in
Right,
park.
there's just closing bars down. I'm not saying we're old, but we're getting a little old for closing bars down. And really, the bar scene seems like when we were the last year playing a lot. Your last set, everyone's home anyway. People don't close bars down.
Right.
We need
And how-
to change the bar.
So if they were playing
Like from 8
till
to
like midnight,
midnight.
I think that'd be great for everybody.
And how often can you really play your originals too? Because usually when you're playing the bar, they kind of want to hear covers.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
how you
yeah,
get.
you
That's how you
sneak
get
'em in
people
there.
staying and dancing.
We play that
unfortunately.
Country Gets Down song because it's just got a beat and you
Sure.
can just fade it in and they're
They don't know.
inebriated and swaying and they're fine.
I was too.
Yeah. Now that yesterday's song actually, when we talk about what I do for a living, that's actually it's actually about right where I live, the neighborhood I lived in, where we fished and everything. I was just running service calls one day in my old neighborhood. By the time I left for the day, the song was basically wrote, just like kind of what my life was when I was probably 10, you know.
That's cool. Speaking of which, speaking of work and jobs, you guys are good to be here, right? You're not gonna get fired and call him up.
I'm the boss.
Oh, okay, good.
He's the boss.
So you're not you're the boss of the company that he works
Yeah.
for?
No, I'm the
No,
boss.
they-
I own Westbourne Electric in Dearborn Heights.
Oh, okay.
So,
Really,
you
Cody's
didn't give
the
me a
only one.
shirt.
right.
You didn't bring me a shirt. Why? I'm just kidding.
I'll bring you a nicer shirt.
Oh, okay.
We had
I
this
got
discussion.
shirts. I got
With a
shirts for you guys too.
collar.
Don't worry.
Him and I did have the discussion.
We actually did have this discussion, but he's like,
Don't bring him shirts or bring him. Hey, if you're
No,
a
he's like,
musician, you're
don't
watching,
outdo my shirt.
and you're about to be on the show, I gladly accept shirts and
I've
CDs.
seen
And
that, yeah.
Right.
my girlfriend hates it. She's like, all your shirts are just like local band shirts. I'm like, every single one is, and like maybe 5 or 6 Frank Williams Jr. shirts. So it's cool. It's all good. So the name of the group, so this is Corey, Cody, Matt, and Mark. Remember that because after we do this next little part of the show, it might be changing.
really?
You've watched the show before.
I do.
You-
I
you're-
watch
you're
it every week.
familiar with these-
Sometimes I just share it and watch it later. Depends on if I'm
That's
in
what I
somebody's
do.
house working.
Who's getting fired? Right.
So no one's going to get fired, but this is the time where I like to do it. It's a very popular segment. I'm sure you're familiar. It's called the Throw You Under the Bus Awards.
There you go.
I'm going to ask y'all one question about the group. You got to blame either one of your bandmates or yourself.
This is easy.
You say that.
all
First
my
of all, who's missing? Who's the person that's missing?
Jason Tipton.
Jason
he's-
Tipton is
And
exempt.
he's actually, a guy I went through high school with, and known him my whole life. So it's kind of sucks he couldn't be here, but his job. I think he's kind of runs the show of what he's doing, and he he couldn't sneak out.
You gotta do what you gotta do, and I appreciate you guys showing up. And Jason, next time we'll have you on the show. But you know what, Jason, you're not exempt from these answers. It's time for the 300 the Bus Awards. I will start with Mike.
Yes, sir.
Mark. Excuse me. Not
Either
Mark,
one.
Mike. Mark with a K, right?
Right, yep.
Mark. Excuse me. Who out of your bandmates? Who would you say is the biggest ladies man? The biggest
Ladies man?
The big who's always got the chick at the bar at the show?
The young guy.
The young
of course.
guy?
Yeah.
I could have guessed that. Keeping tallies in my head. Do you even try? Do they even know? Because I used to know a buddy who played in bands all the time, and like all the girls would love him. He would be totally oblivious to it.
It's actually weird. The audience I try and target, not receptive. I get like women that are probably well into their 50s that just adore me, or like 12-year-olds are like, he's cute. So like anybody.
What are 12-year-olds doing at the bar?
Oh, well, we play like parties and stuff. And, but
Outdoor stuff.
That's funny. All right, well, I'll give it to you next then, Cody. Cody, who would you say is the worst dressed of your uncles here?
Mark's in work clothes right now. He has got the gold chain though.
At a show, who would you say?
I'd
is
say
the
he
most?
does
at a show.
I mean, right now, okay, yeah, Mark, but at a show, who shows up for the show?
I've seen Matt rock some sweatpants on stage before. I've seen it.
That's just he's the bassist.
Yeah.
Were they the dress sweatpants?
Right. They
Don't
had the
know.
line on them there. Yeah.
All right, Matt, this
They
one's
had
for you,
pockets in them.
then. You got to be comfy, man.
Right.
You don't do that, man. You just, I play bass too, so I know exactly what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. But this one's for you. Who would you say is the biggest crybaby?
Biggest crybaby.
Who's the biggest whiner?
Everybody's pretty stoic. I guess Mark.
Mark, you've gotten 3 awards tonight.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Worst dressed.
Worst
Well, I know. Hey, worst dressed and biggest crybaby. He's
Well,
got the ladies,
I
man.
wouldn't say crybaby, but I like to be like, there's just a lot going on here, and I try to keep it all together.
You're the
I wouldn't
disciplinarian.
either.
I'm the one that
but,
bitches I bitch the most.
He wants perfection, Don't blame him there.
Can't blame him there, no.
Right on.
What about you, though? You don't want perfection in your group? You want everything else? I'm just kidding.
He wants more of him in the monitor. Trust me.
Just more of me in the monitor and we're fine, folks. That's a joke.
All right, Corey, this one's yours.
All right.
Corey, out of your whole entire group, when it comes to like a gig night, you guys all have to drive. Who's the worst driver?
Who's the worst driver?
Who's the one that you're just afraid for your life when they get behind the wheel of the equipment?
Geez, I don't know, but there was an incident where our drummer almost lost all of his. Going up north last year, you did almost sideswipe your whole trailer.
That's your
I
third
blame the
award.
deer though.
It was a deer. And really, yeah, I'm just, that's the best answer I could come up with, I think.
No,
Mark,
that's
I'm trying
great.
to come up with questions to get you out of this.
Thank
trend. But they just keep coming right back to you.
I mean, I watched Cody parallel park earlier, and I was actually pretty impressed. I was watching him
can't do
park,
that.
and I thought, there's no way he's going to get in there. And he did. So I can't say Cody.
Did you have a trailer on the back too?
He did not.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, I can't parallel park. I had to do it one time, and I was able to do it, but it wasn't smooth. It was not. It was not
As long as
graceful.
you're out of your vehicle and you haven't hit anybody, it's cool.
We live in Monroe. It's such an obsolete skill there. You never
Right.
need to do it.
Yeah. None of us really drink, so we don't have
Right,
to
right.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Really? Well, that's cool though. That's good.
So we're never fearful of like who's too drunk to drive. You know, none of us drink.
Well, maybe this question might not be a good one. I was gonna say, who's the angriest?
That's, even like you said, the question you asked earlier about whining or crying. That's kind of the cool thing about the band, because everyone's been in different bands, but like we all get along pretty good.
Yeah, we don't have that.
We all just like, okay, we're and that's what makes it fun. So you're in something like this that's got to kind of add to your life, and this adds, they're all your
Right.
friends,
Right, and I think it adds to different kind of stress when you're doing it because that's what you like. You don't have the day job. You don't have your side gigs that you're trying to get out of to come here. You know,
Right.
like you're trying to make it solely on just playing those gigs and doing these shows and songwriting, and then it gets stressful with your band because
Well,
when
100%.
everyone's trying to fight to survive, and then you start fighting it within.
That's the cool thing. Even when we do work on an original song, Corey's like, "You guys just do what you want.
Sure.
If I don't like it, I'll tell you it." We always first take. It sounds great, and we roll with it.
So who would you say? Would you say you're the biggest writer, or who would you say the biggest writer of the group is?
I write all the lyrics, and here's the thing: is I used to play, and I didn't used to play with the guitar at all. But then I found it was hard to write. I needed to have at least be able to play enough to write a song. And then I kind of give it to, I send it to him to kind of work on it because I'm limited. I can play some chords, and then we just start running it. And really, yeah, I want the band to create it. I don't want it to just be like, so like
Right.
he's asked about the bass, this or that. I'm like, we'll just keep running it, and we'll find something that we kind of organically make the song instead of, some what's an example? I think Collective Soul. It's really just the one guy writes everything and they play everything, and hey, I'm not afraid to be as successful as Collective Soul, but we just I want everyone to kind of write their own
Glad
stuff.
you threw that name out. I was actually just listening to them the other day. And I'm like, they don't talk about this band anymore, and then he just throws it out. That's kind of funny. That's a unique voice, by the way. The guy in that band, I don't know their names, but
I don't know his name. I just know that.
It's like it's weird.
I
You
think
should try
he
singing
wrote that
like
whole
that.
first album and recorded it before it even, and he didn't have a band.
Really?
Yeah. I could be lying right now, but I'm pretty sure I'm saying
That
the
sounds
truth.
familiar for somebody that books shows without a band.
Yeah, I do book shows without a band. So
He calls us up. He's like, "I'm in a jam next week. I have this festival, and I have no band."
So are you not Vendetta Ride or?
no, we are.
Is it like? Do you have other artists on every?
No, these are these guys.
Did you pay him to answer these questions? You knew
I'm like, please stop talking to them.
right? Like they don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah, it's not Cody.
All right, we got time for one more song. This is Vendetta Ride live at MusicTown. This next song is called "Never Send It."
Yep, this is a song we wrote a couple years ago, and actually down south our way. We actually got a few spins on the radio down there.
Really, where at?
Can I just say it? I mean, it's
It's down
98.3
south.
National. Well, in Monroe, and there's a station in Monroe that
Oh, that's
they
down south.
Oh, down south of here. Monroe, south of here.
I thought you've been down south.
Oh, no,
yeah,
we're
don't
not.
say it.
No.
Middle of Ohio.
Hey, which song did we have that was hit number 12 on that Australia chart?
Oh yeah, actually it was number 12 in Australia for a couple weeks.
Shut up, are you-
It was.
Right
You just
on.
when you write songs and stuff, you just scatter stuff everywhere. You
Sure.
send it out.
Oh, yeah.
So we sent it to some guy in Australia that runs a radio station, and yeah, we were number 12 with this song in Australia somewhere.
That's all. That's something that's really cool, actually.
I did not know that.
Hey, Matt didn't even know that.
You're like when next time you do a single, make sure you send it to Australia. Send a lot to Australia.
They love this stuff.
New Zealand, they got to play the Concords and Vendetta Ride. That's awesome.
Funny.
Sweet, let's check it out. This
All
is
right.
Never Send
Never
It.
Send
Charted 12 in Australia.
That's right. Let's call Casanova. Why don't you come on over? This bar's about to close down for the night. It goes without saying, if you're offended, I'm only playing. If you're not, let's hit the door before they hit the light. I'm not trying to break your heart, but I'll bend it. Didn't start the night together, but it's how we'll end it. Talk a pretty big game, I won't defend it. Text you that I love you, but I'll never send it. Some people come to drink whiskey, others to get frisky. Some boys like to just get drunk and fight. Me, I spend my money chasing them bees, sipping that honey. Won't you take a chance that I'm your Mr. Right? I'm not trying to break your heart, but I'll bend it. Didn't start the night together, but it's how we'll end it. Talk a pretty big game, I won't defend it. I text you that I love you, but I'll never send it. I'm not trying to break your heart, but I'll bend it. Didn't start the night together, but it's how we'll end it. big game, I won't defend it. I text you that I love you, but I'll never send it. I'm not trying to break your heart, but I'll bend it. Didn't stop tonight together, but it's how we'll end it. Talk a pretty big game, won't defend it. I text you that I love you, but I'll never send it.
What was the feeling when you found out that song charted? That's pretty awesome. I was thinking about that. I'm like, that had to be like one of the coolest moments.
Yeah, they the guy posted. I was like, "Whoa, we're on there."
How do you check the charts? How can you do that?
It was just on their Facebook site for what you just. That's how I found out on all these different like radio stations all over, and you just shoot them out, just
That's
mass
cool.
shoot MP3s out. If they're playing our song somewhere weird, I think it's kind of cool.
You just type in like radio stations in other countries, like
Just,
stations
yeah.
in Russia.
Just shoot them. You know what? I might reach out to Russia. I haven't
Come
reached
by.
out yet.
Like, I'm friends with Trump.
Oh,
There's
well,
Matt.
there.
Shut up. Microphone. Please turn
Yeah,
his microphone
cut
off.
the
Thank you.
microphone. That's why we don't give him
That's
mic.
what happens right there.
I was going to ask him a question, but I think they just did cut it.
Yeah, he just answered.
So what's your guys' plans for the rest of the day? Anything fun? Out of work? Going back to work?
I think we're all probably hungry, so we're probably
Lunch.
fine.
Have some- have some lunch?
and just kind of hang out. Like I say, we're not usually down here this time of day, so it's nice.
Okay.
You see how skinny we are.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
We're,
I do have one last question before we send you off on your lunch excursion. If you could give advice to any of the musicians watching right now, in your 2 years of being the band, what would it be?
Don't.
Don't be a band.
turn this thing. I'd say
It's tough. It is.
it's hard, but have fun, enjoy it. I mean, it's one thing that you mentioned earlier. If you're doing it to make a living, then that's what you're doing. But if you're doing it to kind of enhance your life, add to your life, just make sure you're enjoying it. Make sure it kind of fits your life, and find some good guys to do it.
Sure.
And that's really it's a combination of getting the right guys.
That's good
Yeah,
advice.
I think that's really
It is,
important.
and it's easy to do it with your friends too, and it's easy, someone you've known for a long time or someone that,
So, right, like that's what I tell these guys when we're writing stuff. I say I don't have feelings. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but like if you don't like something, like you have to be able to be honest and still be friends. And in some
take
situations
constructive
you can't do
criticism.
that.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's cool. Would you guys all be on board with that? That's good advice.
Yeah, sure. You got push on.
Class.
Sometimes you're gonna play like a VFW for free or like some kid's birthday party, but
It's notoriety.
you're playing, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get your name out there, and as long as you're having fun, you're doing it right. That's the moral. As long as you're having fun, you're doing it right. If you're not having fun, then you might as well switch it up a little bit.
Right.
Anything that doesn't bring you joy in life, get rid of it.
Fair enough.
know?
Fair enough. Sometimes you got to do it just to do it, and that's what I think the whole thing is when you're doing it to make a living, and that's all you got. It's beyond just doing it to do it. You're like, oh no, So
No,
that's
100%
cool.
true.
Well, I don't want to hold you guys up from lunch. Vendetta Ride, thanks so much for making the trip and joining me for the Homegrown Happy Hour. We're live every Tuesday from MusicTown Detroit, inside the Hockey Town Cafe. Shout out to Annie and Ryan for shooting it out and behind the scenes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. They didn't cut us out. It's awesome. We're live every Tuesday. If you want to send me music, send it to my email, frankjrradio@gmail.com. Until then, we'll see you next Tuesday at noon. Have a good
Thanks
week.
for having us. Bye.